I'm Paige. Welcome back to my kitchen. You're watching the next episode of Doughing It with Paigey. Today we will be baking the kindergarten honey wheat bread from the cookbook Bread Baking for Beginners by Bonnie Ohara. Now today we are actually introducing a couple of new things. We are going to be using more whole wheat flour in this recipe than we are used to using in the previous recipes in this book. We will also be adding a little bit more yeast to this dough than we have in the past, and that means it's going to take a little bit less time to make. Now this is a pretty versatile recipe because you can either make loaves out of this dough or you can make rolls out of this dough, and today I'm going to be making some rolls. This recipe makes 2 loaves or 14 to 16 rolls, so I'm actually cutting this recipe in half and I plan to make somewhere around 8 or 9 rolls. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I am super excited to try this recipe with you guys. We're going to go ahead and get started by weighing out our ingredients. We're going to start off by weighing out our all-purpose flour, some whole wheat flour, water, salt, and yeast. Today we're also going to be adding honey and a little bit of oil to this dough. I'm using peanut oil, but you can use whatever kind of oil that you have on hand. We're going to start off by adding the yeast directly on top of the water and whisking that until it is nice and bubbly. Now once that's really foamy and bubbly, I'm going to go ahead and add my honey and whisk that up until everything is well combined. After that, I'm going to add my oil and just whisk that in for good measure. Then we'll go ahead and add our dry ingredients. We'll start off by adding our flour directly on top of the water, and then we will add the salt on top of the flour. And we're just going to jump right in and start mixing our dough. Now the first time that I made this recipe, I was a little thrown off by the consistency just because it does have a lot more whole wheat flour than I was used to. Just make sure that you are really squeezing the dough, incorporating all of the ingredients from the sides of the bowl, and making sure all of your dry ingredients are getting mixed well. Continue to mix your dough by hand and try to get it really stretchy like this. Once our dough is mixed, we're going to go ahead and let this rest for about 30 minutes so that the flour can absorb some of that water. Now that our dough is done resting, we are going to go ahead and start kneading it. I'm going to start off by adding some flour to my countertops and turning our dough out of the bowl. Now when we knead, we're just going to push forward with the heel of our hand and pull the dough back, give it a quarter turn, and do the same method. We're going to go all around the dough doing this until it has tightened up. It usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Now if your dough is getting sticky on the counter, just add a little bit more flour and keep working. As you can see, our dough has really tightened up, and I think we are done kneading this. So we are going to go ahead and pop this back into the bowl, cover it up with a floured kitchen towel, and let it rise for about an hour and a half. So we will come back and check it then. All right, it's been about an hour and a half, and here is what our dough looks like. It has obviously risen, it is doubled in size, so we're going to go ahead and get these shaped. Go ahead and show you how I shaped my rolls today. I'm just keeping it pretty basic, but if you want to make your rolls a little bit cute and turn them into a heart or something like that, feel free to do that. I'm going to start off with a little bit of flour on my countertops, and I'm going to turn my dough out of the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and get these shaped into rolls, and I think we're going to be able to make about 7 or 8 today. And I'm just going to use my dough scraper to cut these into somewhat even pieces. I just want to side note that there are not any shaping instructions in this recipe. I'm just gonna wing it for you guys and we'll see how they turn out. So I'm just gonna try to just kind of fold these in, turn it over, just kind of turn it in my hands to give it some tension on the top of the roll. You can do this in your hands too, just like this. And when we're done with these, I'm gonna drop them onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. So again, we're just gonna kind of fold in the corners of the dough into the center, almost like a little letter fold. Roll it in my hands a little bit. If your dough's a little sticky, don't be afraid to add a little flour to your countertops to make this a little bit easier. Now, if you're trying this recipe at home and you ended up making loaves, there are no instructions on how to shape that in this specific recipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and link my panned loaf video right up here for you guys in case you need to learn how to shape your dough into a loaf. So by halving this recipe, I was able to make 11 rolls. Now, I know that some of them are a little bit bigger than the other ones, but I'm not worried about them being perfect. If you're a perfectionist and you're worried about all of these being the exact same size, I would recommend using your kitchen scale to divide these and then weigh each roll. So we're gonna go ahead and let these proof on the baking sheet for about an hour, and then we will come back and check them and get them ready to bake. Okay, our rolls are done proofing. I'm gonna show you how I know that. If I poke the dough and it leaves an indent, it is ready to go. If I poke it and it springs right back up, it needs more time proofing, but these are done. So for this recipe, you do have the option to use an egg wash to brush the top of your dough. If you don't want to do that, you can use water, that's just fine. I'm going to be making an egg wash today, and all that entails is cracking an egg and adding a couple tablespoons of milk. You'll just want to whisk that together, and you can use it to brush the top of your loaves if you decide to do that. And you'll just want to generously brush the tops of each roll or loaf. I'm going to go ahead and pop these in the oven, and we will bake them for about 40 to 45 minutes. Here is what our rolls look like when they are done, fresh out of the oven. Here is the difference between a roll that was brushed with egg wash and here is one that was brushed with water. As you can see, the one that has the egg wash just has a shinier top. All right, our rolls have been resting for about 30 minutes on a wire rack, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a taste test for you guys. Okay, I'm trying one of the rolls that has the egg wash on it. Good. So, full disclosure, I'm not the biggest fan of whole wheat. However, these are really, really good. They have a very subtle sweet honey flavor, which is really nice. And I think a good slather of butter makes them a little bit better. I do have a quick announcement coming at you guys. So I've actually partnered up with Greater Goods to do a giveaway next week, and I'll be posting all of the details on how to enter on my Instagram this coming week. So be sure to follow my Instagram. I will leave that right here for you guys so that you can get all the details on how to enter the giveaway. Now be sure to tune in next week because we are making a brown sugar spice oatmeal bread, and I'm really excited to try that recipe with you guys. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and thanks again for watching Doughing It with Paigey. I'll see you guys next time. Hi. Oh. Hi. What is all the camera movement? Did I just say yeast? Talk about distracting. I'm still working. Where was I? Stretchy. I made that up. Am I good? How do I say that? So professional. Slather this with some butter. Don't tell me what to do. This is gonna be the worst taste test ever. I hate these rolls. Okay, I have an idea. I want to throw a roll at you. Like, I want it to bypass the camera just barely. Let's test it. Cool. Yes. Should I re-say all of that?